Oh, hello, this is Tak Chung from Walk with Tak. Welcome to my YouTube channel. If you enjoyed this video, please like, subscribe, and share. Please feel free to write me at walkwithtak@gmail.com if you have any question regarding this video or any video that I have posted. I will reply to your email promptly. In the United States, salmon is the number 2 seafood with an annual value of $10 billion. Of course, the number 1 seafood is shrimp, which has an annual value over $28 billion. The reason we all like salmon, not only because it tastes great, but salmon has excellent nutritional value. Salmon is rich in a fatty acid known as omega-3 fatty acid. This is a fatty acid will reduce what we call the bad cholesterol, and therefore salmon can actually reduce the incidence of heart diseases. Omega-3 fatty acid is also important for our neural system. And there's some evidence suggests that it can reduce the development of dementia. Therefore, in addition to the nutritional property of salmon, it also has great taste, making it to be probably one of the most sought-after seafood nowadays. However, one frequently asked question about salmon is that, should you eat the skin of the salmon? Most people do not eat the skin of the salmon because it doesn't taste very good. It tends to be taste fatty. And a lot of people will remove the skin, or they just scrape the salmon off the skin after they cook them. So quite often you can actually buy salmon without the skin, and it is more expensive. In a study according to Mayo Clinic, that the salmon skin is actually the most nutritional part of the salmon because it has the highest concentration of omega-3 fatty acid. And you will discover that if you cook the salmon skin properly, it actually turns out to be the most flavorful part of the salmon. And my wife is a connoisseur of salmon. She loves salmon. And after she eating the way how I cook the salmon, particularly dealing with the skin, she tell me without any questions, the skin is the best part of the salmon. In this video, I'm going to show you how to cook salmon, particularly in regards to the skin, that will give you the best flavor of the salmon. This method works extremely well. In addition, it creates salmon that are moist and tender, that you will not overcook it. But more importantly is that this is very fast. It takes only about 5 minutes to cook a salmon dish. I used to cook the salmon as a whole large pieces as shown here. A couple of things I discovered that this might not be the best approach. Well, first and foremost, it takes longer to cook. And secondly, there's uneven thickness across the piece of the salmon. So some part will be overcooked and some will be undercooked. After some trial and error, I discovered actually the best way to cook salmon is to cut them up into small pieces. So every time when I brought salmon back from the store, I would cut them up into pieces that about the same thickness. And consequently that I will be able to cook them more evenly. And then I freeze them in a Ziploc sandwich bag. In a portion size that is suitable for us to eat in a meal, we use salmon more as a condiment rather than as a main ingredient. So normally they will be in about a 6 to 8 ounce portion. And this is just right for a meal. Now since I have cut them into smaller pieces, I will be able to freeze in such a way it is much easier for me to thaw them out. I usually can thaw them out in about 10 minutes and without using the microwave oven, just in a bowl of lukewarm water, it preserves the flavor and texture of the salmon. I'm going to cook this salmon dish in my Walmart Immusa 14-inch cup and steel wok. It is a gray wok. It has no non-stick coating and it costs only about $20. This wok has a nice thickness and I really enjoy this wok. Before I switched to my stainless steel wok, I use this wok all the time. Although I prefer the stainless steel wok because it's more versatile and I don't have to worry about it getting rusted and I can cook almost anything in it. This wok I have to be more careful. If I cook anything that will remove the seasoning, such as if I cook any things with high acid, I want to make sure that I cover it with a light coat of oil before I store it, otherwise it might get rust. So as you can see here, I laid the salmon with the skin side down on the surface of the wok. Now, you can actually watch the salmon cook. Now, a lot of people worry about, well, if I cut the salmon so thin, would it cause the salmon to become tough? Actually, it will not, because when you cook like this, you watch how the salmon cook. You notice that the color change. This indicated how the salmon is going to cook from the bottom up. Now, with the skin side down, the goal is that you want to lay the skin side down as it is, cook it long enough that you can create a char, crispy texture. And it usually takes about a couple minutes, depending on how hot your stove is. You can actually turn your stove as high as you want because you're not going to burn the ingredients, because that's exactly what you want to do. And another thing you notice that all the salmon pieces are very thin, and this allows them to cook very quickly. So usually in about maybe somewhere between 2 to 2.5 minutes, it will be ready. You should cook this under the hood if you can, because it does generate a lot of oil film, because you are frying it just like you're frying anything. These salmons are Atlantic salmon that I purchased it fresh, that has never been frozen. Of course, it's best is to use it right away, but since I cannot eat all of them in one meal, so I freeze them, and it turned out to be very good. It did not really change the texture too much. So now, as you can see, the top of the salmon has yet to be cooked, but now you turn it over, you notice that the back of the salmon has already been charred. It gives it really nice texture. Like one of my friends said to me, it just tastes like bacon, but it does not have the negative effect of bacon. One thing you will notice that is that the amount of oil in the bottom of the wok actually increased dramatically because of the fatty acid that are being released by the salmon, which are rich in omega-3 fatty acid. Now, to take advantage of this, what you can do is that you can add mushroom to the dish at this point. Now you're start cooking the other side of the salmon, but you do not want to cook it too much, because otherwise you're going to overcook it. So in this case, I actually add some portobello mushroom. Now, mushroom has this unusual property, is that it tends to absorb oil, and in fact, mushroom is good for absorb almost any fluid. And the absorption of the oil gives the mushroom a really nice, rich flavor. Much better if you say put water. Oil just gives mushroom that smooth texture. So in this case, the mushroom is used to absorb the oil. I add a little bit more cooking wine in this case. But you notice that when you put mushroom in it, you will see all the oil at the bottom will be gone. Although in this case, I was not able to show you that, but you can make that observation. The next step is that to make the dish a little bit more interesting, I add some romaine lettuce. This is a fresh romaine lettuce. I add directly to the wok. In this case, this dish is almost like a salad. So the romaine lettuce, after I add it to it, I just toss it very gently. I shut off the heat. And this creates almost like a semi-salad. And then to garnish the dish, I add some teriyaki sauce. This is a teriyaki sauce made by a company called Kinda. And then you mix everything. It gives a really nice light teriyaki flavor, but it also retains the flavor of the mushroom as well as the salmon. Now, you can use probably any other type of sauces that you want. In fact, you can even use salad dressing if you like, because this dish is almost like a salad. Like I said, the romaine lettuce only cook very lightly. So you can experiment and try different type of sauces. Another sauces works well is like a oyster sauce in combination of hoisin sauce. It also works good. The total cook time of this dish is only about 5 minutes. And trust me, you will find the salmon will be in perfect texture, and the char, crispy skin really adds a great deal to the salmon. If you love salmon, this is definitely a dish that you should try. And using the prepping method, you will have salmon available in your freezer, and you can have it anytime you want. And they freeze very well. So if you're a salmon lover, give it a try. And trust it, my wife thinks this is the best way to cook salmon. I post a video each day to help you to make home cooking practical, efficient, creative, and fun. using my fast cooking system. And if you'd like to learn more about this cooking system, please subscribe to my YouTube channel. So keep on cooking. I will see you tomorrow.